right, welcome. We will go ahead and get started. I'll read the opening statement. This meeting is a meeting of the school board in public for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business and is not to be considered a public meeting, community meeting. There may be time for public participation as indicated by agenda item or as directed by the president. Meeting site is fully accessible. Any person requiring further accommodation should contact the superintendent at the school corporation's central office. The meeting will be electronically recorded and will be kept on file in the superintendent's office. A copy of the audio recording will also be available on the NLCS website. Just to make a note, all board members are present. And for all those who are able to rise and uncover for the pledge, Mr. Lombard, will you lead us? And we have a very special treat tonight. Our choir from B&L is here to perform, so I will turn it over to them.
Two rows over here. So, back row, front row. Facing towards me, please. Thank you. Hello, and thank you so much for the invitation to bring the choir to perform for all of you today. Our first song is going to be a song called Winter with You, a song about feeling together and with your loved ones during this holiday season, and it is by Pink Zebra.
The
So thank you. That was Winter with You by Pink Zebra. And our next is a holiday classic. We get invited every single year to sing at the county courthouse. And after the first year of singing there, I knew the exact song that we needed to have every single year, which is Carol of the Bells. So please enjoy our version of Carol of the Bells.
Sweet silver bells all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, big and the bold. Ding dong, ding dong, that is a song with triple ring, no caroling. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they pound, raising the sound. Oh, hill and dale, telling the tale. Hear it, while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Ding, merry, merry, ding dong, ding, merry, 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 ding dong, ding. Sweet silver bells all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. Ding dong, that is a song with triple ring, no caroling. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they pound, raising the sound. Oh, hill and dale, telling the tale. Hear it, while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Ding, merry, 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 ding dong, ding, merry, 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 ding dong, ding dong.
Thank you so much for having us. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, students. That was impressive. Thank you. All right, that was fantastic. We will now move to special recognition of two of our board members, Mr. Tracy Bailey and Mr. Jeff Lombrick, who are rotating off the board. Mr. Bailey has a total of 8 years of service, and Mr. Lombrick has 12 non-consecutive, right? Both of you. So we will now have a presentation for them. And yes, you're supposed to come on, go down. Picture of them, and then you can get one.
Nice, thank you.
Okay. Now we will move to sort of the regular business of our meeting. And again, thank you to the choir, and thank you to both Mr. Bailey and Mr. Lombrick for their service. I would entertain a motion for review, to approve the review for approval of minutes from the November 21st meeting.
Make a motion, we approve.
All right, Mr. King makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Lombrick seconds. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. And then C, persons to address the board relative to the agenda. Mr. Joe Timbrook.
This is in reference to agenda item G. You'll hear Ms. Terrell speak in just a little bit, but what I'd like to say, just to the school board as a whole, on behalf of the Lawrence County Economic Growth Council, and now Grow Lawrence County, we'd like to extend our appreciation for your support as the governing body of this organization at North Lawrence. Since it is now year-end 2024, I want to use my 3 minutes to reiterate and applaud the work and cooperation of your administration, brilliant teachers, and other staff, as they are not just a shining example of professionalism in your corporation, but a leader in Lawrence County in doing what is right for our students and giving them the best chance for success. North Lawrence Community Schools' recent collaboration with Mitchell Community Schools on a college and career readiness continuum that Ms. Terrell will talk about. They worked for over a year and is a model for the region and the state as it pertains to Indiana's career coaching framework. And thank you, Mr. Bailey, for being a part of that. We are prepared to fund all the needed supplies for this framework that was determined, as well as fund associated educator professional development. The Commissioner for Higher Education, Chris Lowry, who was just here a little over a week ago, commented that our two school systems are way out in front of other schools in the state in regards to House Bill 1002 and are primed for immediate and continued success. The Regional Opportunity Initiative support, who's given support to North Lawrence and Mitchell in different ways, has been instrumental in a number of ways, including the ability to hire Kylie Gilbertson as a career coach. We're very excited about that. And she is often running in conjunction with Libby Brubaca, who is Mitchell's version from a career coach. There's been a collaboration developed with Work One, Purdue Extension, and more to ensure every student has their career meeting and as juniors and seniors. That is now a statutory requirement. But on another note, the fifth year of Manufacturing Week in October was a huge success with record participation, 12 employers and over 400 eighth graders to help the employment pipeline for our crucial local businesses. I think the 120 pieces we bought that day helped a little bit. Please don't underestimate the collaborative support needed with state, regional, and county resources to make these creative and focused strategies happen. Your administration understands this better than others and have received many resources that would never have come your way without their vision, foresight, and tireless effort. This never would have been possible without the encouragement of Mr. Yancey, Kelly Terrell, Amy Redmond, Tricia Hudson, and others too many to mention. You have assembled an outstanding team, one that leaps over barriers, is solution-oriented, and works well together. As Grow Lawrence County continues its mission to enhance and enrich the lives of Lawrence County residents, your team plays a critical role in making that happen. We look forward to more outstanding results in 2025, and we'll be right there to help guide and resource all the efforts to take care of our community's children. As I always hear you say, it's about the kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, I would now turn it over to Mrs. Carson for Business Office.
Thank you. I would like to ask the board for approval of claims and payroll since the last board meeting, and that's in the amount of $2,555,415.42.
All right, thank you. I'd entertain a motion to approve the claims and payroll since last board meeting as presented.
Motion approved.
Mr. King makes the motion. Do we have a second? Mrs. Miller seconds. Any discussion on the motion? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, number 2.
I would also like to ask the board for approval of a supervisory stipend for a Title I staff member at St. Vincent de Paul.
Okay, I would entertain a motion for approval, supervision of Title I staff member stipend for St. Vincent de Paul as presented. All right, Mrs. Miller makes the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Mr. Lombrick seconds. Any discussion on the motion?
The only thing, I don't have questions, but a lot of people don't know that
Yeah.
we do this for St. Vincent because of the Title I money. You can explain that better.
I can answer. It's out of the equitable share of our Title I fund. So we provide the stipend for supervisor responsibilities for a non-certified staff member that needs a certified staff member to oversee them per the DOE policy.
We're not putting money in St. Vincent.
Correct.
It's really
This
Yes.
is their
It comes through
money.
us.
It just comes through us.
Through us, and so we have to do it. Yes.
Exactly.
It is very confusing when you see another school
Yes,
listed,
we
so
see that, it's weird, but
thanks for bringing that up.
I've seen it a few times.
Yeah. Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Unger?
I would like to ask the board approval of the personnel agenda as presented.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve the personnel agenda as presented.
I make a motion to approve.
All right, Mr. King makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Parsley seconds. Any discussion on the motion? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you. Number 2?
Thank you. Number 2, one of the things that sometimes I wake up at 3 in the morning and worry about is our substitute fill rate at our district. It wasn't doing very well this year. We got into the data. You have an analysis of that data as well, but as you can see, we had a period of several months where it was 37%. The problem with this is it's a disruption to student learning. For example, we have to pull other employees, so that may mean the library is now closed, or you may not have specials, or you may not have special reading groups as we try to tackle increasing our literacy rate. So that causes a disruption. The other thing too is it's really increased staff burnout in the past, because when we still have the same number of kids and we have less people. That causes a burden on everybody, and so then people fill in. People may even miss some of the regular times, and there's less planning time. And then with that burnout, it's a positive feedback loop. More people are out, and then also just equity classroom issues with that, because we found as we looked at the data, it's not the same everywhere. So, for example, it's harder to fill sometimes the fine arts or special needs classes. Also, it's easier to fill a small school like Needmore than to try to feed, do both the Parkviews. So that's another issue there. So we're trying to increase that. In your proposal, you have other things, but tonight I would like to bring the approval to increase substitute teacher pay.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve increased substitute teacher pay as presented. All right, Mrs. Miller makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Parsley seconds. Any discussion on the motion?
I have one question. I support this proposal fully, all right, but I'm a little bit concerned about not concerned about the number of unfilled, but also the total number of jobs that need to be filled.
Yes,
I know there's a lot of factors involved with that. Right?
absolutely.
I mean, back in October, we approved some, like, professional development for 22 people, and like 20 of those are on the same instructional days. So I'm a little bit concerned about, like some of the factors that go into that, or some of the causes that cause this. Could you maybe like the top 3?
Yeah, I can
issues
present on that.
or factors that
So the
affect
first
this?
thing, which I think in analysis was one of the biggest things, was we just had limited sub pool. So we've already tried to, even before we raised have tried some means of onboarding better, helping prepare them to do that. We've had discussions with principals. The principals have been also checking in on subs more when they first start. And so I even went ahead and saw what's December. So we're already up a little bit to about 50%. So that's an increase, but it's still nowhere where we want it, obviously. The other thing, too, was the non-competitive pay. We're competing against other districts for subs. But then also other businesses, right? It matters. So what they're paying at the restaurants and fast food, if it's more, it's harder for us to get a sub. So that's the other thing. But then this is a problem that Mr. King asked about too. It's multivariate of absenteeism has went up. The data shows that chronic absenteeism for students and teachers have went up since the COVID crisis phenomenon, whatever you want to call it. And so that has made an issue. So we have more FMLAs out than we usually have. We also have more absences. And it's tricky too. Like, we give compensation to our teachers in sick days and personal days, and that's compensation. They can take those, so that's there. But there's a lot of factors in this. The one thing is, and I think we're trying to address, is the professional development. Maybe to do more job embedded and less we have a swatch of teachers out of 10 or so a day, because that does cause a strain on it. So that's something we can look at. But for example, another thing as we get complex, because we were talking with HR directors, and then I even had a table of superintendents. This is a problem everywhere. Some of them, it's such a bad problem that they're hitting punitive because they don't know what else to do. We're trying to be more proactive here, and we're seeing our student attendance go up already, which is great. I don't know other districts that are having that kind of success like we are there. But you know, it is probably there's a lot to it. Here's one example: 75% of our staff are females, right? And of the teachers that are out of the classroom. As we know, culturally, often it is the female who then has to stay home when other family members are sick. And you know, I don't want to get into whys and arguments and philosophies on that. It's just the fact I deal with. And so, you know, it's very possible you'll have a teacher out Monday, Tuesday with one kid sick, then they have to be out Thursday, Friday because now the other two are sick. And so because of that burden too, that's something that's all in this formula. And so it's more complex than sometimes we just think. But there are things we can do. You're right. We can start to look at this. Like I said, we can relieve hopefully some of the stress and burden teachers have, which will provide them to be there more. We can do job embedded PD or do more, just go ahead and pay for PD in the summers, but then, you know, you need to pay them for the extra days. So there's things we can do. This is just one thing we want to do. It's not the only thing. But I think by increasing at least a little bit to make us at least where we're the same as other schools, districts, then that helps that.
Good to stay proactive on that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Two questions. First to Fatima, our treasurer, that we can afford this, so I always ask that. What fund is this coming out of, and can we afford it?
It'll be out of the education fund.
Okay, and you're not worried about.
No, we can afford
Okay, second
this.
question then, or second comment, I suppose. So even with a $10 increase per categorization, I would, looking at the comparative districts you've seen here, it looks like we would still be above some, but below others. And so
Yes.
is this enough? I mean, I think this is a nice incremental step, but we may want to revisit this, watch the results of the next couple of months, revisit it, and see
Agreed.
if we need to do yet another. So that's, I guess, to be determined by.
Yeah, absolutely.
Return
And
rate.
in a couple months, we can give you another analysis like you have there with the
Thank you.
data and see where we're at.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm actually going to abstain because my daughter sometimes subs. All right. Huh? You sub?
Scott subs
You
somewhere.
don't get paid, do you? Yeah. So we'll move on to the next, number 3, approval of NLCC substitute teacher proposal.
Yes, and that's for the North Lawrence Career Center. Ms. Redmond's also come up with a very smart plan that she wants to go ahead and have a permanent sub in the building. One reason why that's good is because they'll be trained enough. So, for example, sometimes we have subs, the students can't do the project they're working on, and they have to go to the textbook until that teacher gets back. So this will help keep some of those projects going. She also committed to that if there was ever a case where she didn't need him in the building, she can also send him to the high school.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve the NLCC substitute teacher proposal as presented. Mr. King makes a motion. Do we have a second? Mrs. Miller seconds. Any discussion on this motion? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Housel.
Good evening. I would request approval for the purchase of 20 Promethean boards. The priority up to this point has been to make sure all certified instructional staff had boards. We've accomplished that, and so then I went to building administrators and said, where do we need to fill out some buildings? Computer labs, libraries. We did find we had a couple traveling teachers that had a board in one of their buildings but not in the other, so we want to kind of finish that out with this. We also got a call from our Promethean board dealer that they dropped the price for the end of the year to $2,300, where we had been paying on the large order of $165, we paid $3,500 per board. On the smaller orders, we'd paid $3,700 per board. So it's a good opportunity for us to kind of finish out our buildings.
All right, thank you. I would entertain a motion to approve the purchase of the 20 Promethean boards as presented. Mrs. Miller makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Parsley seconds. Any discussion on this motion? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Terrell.
Hi, good evening. I'm requesting approval for North Lawrence Community Schools to continue the partnership with the Lawrence County Economic Growth Council to support the members of the Lawrence County Grow K-12 advisory team.
All right, thank you. I would entertain a motion to approve item G number 1 as presented.
So moved.
Mr. Lombrick makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bailey seconds. Any discussion on this motion?
When I saw this, I thought, did we just do this? But did we do this last year or something similar to this?
Well,
Or is this just about somebody in every building? We just kind of started the process?
yes,
last night?
so
Okay,
Mr. Bailey was part of the initial work, so we had what was called a design team that started the work. However, when Joe Timbrook and I met with the Mitchell team, we need to continue it, and there are more things that we need to do. So we want to open it up to having a representative from every building, so they have the opportunity to express interest, apply, and then there will be a stipend paid for that, but that'll be paid for from, we call it Joe's money.
excellent.
Yeah, so that, and honestly, I wasn't part of creating the design team, so I'm not for sure how those teachers were chosen. And I created a job description in collaboration. I worked with Joe and April Kidd and Jess Jones from Mitchell, and then Mr. Unger looked at it as well. So when we determine when we want to hire that person, then it'll be posted and then people can apply for it.
Very good.
Yeah.
And try to get us a copy of Joe's balance sheet.
Yeah.
Okay.
See what else Joe wants to pay for.
I'm glad Joe's on my team.
Yeah. All right. Any other discussion? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Thank you. Ms.
Thank you,
Terrell.
and I also want to thank Mr. Bailey for being a part of this work. So,
Yeah.
thanks.
Thank you. All right. Is Mrs. Redmond here? Or is it?
She's not, but I'll
Okay, go
read
ahead.
her things, please. Thank you. Mrs. Amy Redmond is requesting approval of out-of-state field trip for students to attend the National Farm Machinery Show in Louisville, Kentucky on February 14th, 2025.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve item H number 1 as presented. Mr. King makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second it.
Mr. Lombrick seconds. Any discussion on this motion? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Motion carries. Thank you.
And Mrs. Redmond is seeking approval of an overnight field trip for students to attend the Winter Leadership Development Workshop in Trafalgar, Indiana on January 31st, 2025 through February the 2nd of 2025.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion to approve item H number 2 as presented. Mrs. Miller makes the motion. Do we have a second? Mr. King seconds. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Number 3.
And Mrs. Redmond is seeking approval of fall semester prep period buyout for an NLCC teacher.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion for item H number 3 as presented.
Motion approved.
Mr. King makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Lombrick seconds. Any discussion on the motion?
And a buyout is just essentially paying them for an extra teaching duty or during a prep period or something like that.
Correct. He's spending his prep
Filling it.
teaching special ed children during that period, and they're using hand tools, and he's quite good at that.
Okay. No further discussion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Underwood. Mr. Yancey.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. The second reading of Neola Policy Number 36, Number 2, and Volume Number 36, Number 2, Edgar UGG. Then we are asking approval of Neola Policy Volume 36, Number 2, and Volume Number 36, Number 2, Edgar UGG.
thank you. I'd entertain a motion to approve item I, number 2, as presented.
Make a motion to approve the policies as amended.
Okay. Mr. King makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Mr. Parsley seconds. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Thank you. Number 3.
Thank you. We are asking approval of a boiler replacements at Dollins Elementary and Bedford Middle School.
Okay. I would go ahead. You want to give some?
The Dollins demolition and installation and startup of the boiler is $91,700. Bedford Middle School boiler replacement is $83,362.50 with a total of $175,062.50. This will be taken out of the 2024 lease. It's bonded money.
I would entertain a motion to approve item I, number 3, as presented.
Make motion to approve.
Mr. Parsley makes the motion. Do we have a second? Mrs. Miller seconds. Any discussion on the motion? Can you just tell us how old those I know the BMS one was more than 20 years old. How old was the Dollins one?
It's old.
Okay. So these are needed repairs. Okay.
It doesn't work anymore.
Okay.
This is a backup boiler, and we're afraid if the other one goes, we better have the backup boiler.
Okay. All right. No other discussion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Thank you. Number 4.
We are asking approval of the Lincoln Elementary Playground addition from Landscape Structures and Play Pros. Landscape Structures is $159,765. Play Pros is $71,222 for a total of $233,987. Now, why we're doing this early is because it could take 6 to 8 months to receive the equipment. We have 3 playgrounds we're working on this summer, so next board meeting you'll be getting another playground set to approve. This is coming out of the 24 lease.
Okay. Entertain a motion to approve item I, number 4, as presented. Mr. King makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Parsley seconds. Any discussion on the motion?
Just in context, in context to our investment into like the Shawswick playground last year, or this previous spring, this is a little bit less than that, right?
Yes, their playground is in better shape.
Yeah, right. All right, thank you.
If
Now,
no-
we will also be redoing the mulch, as we're doing at 3 other playgrounds this summer, to bring everything up.
No other discussion. I would entertain a motion to approve as presented. That's not what I meant. With no other discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you. We are asking approval on an online CTE grading stipend for the NLCC director. That is for the summer of 2024, spring and summer. Of course, it's $40 per completed course.
I would entertain a motion to approve item I, number 5, as presented. Mr. King makes the motion. Do we have a second? Mrs. Miller seconds. Any discussion on the motion?
This is available to every NLCC instructor or teacher that you know of?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Hearing no more discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Thank you. Number 6.
Thank you. I am asking approval to serve a written preliminary notice regarding the board's consideration for a non-renewal of an administrative contract.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to approve item I, number 6, as presented.
So moved.
All right. Mr. Parsley makes the motion. Do we have a second? Mr. King seconds. Any discussion on the motion? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Thank you, Mr. Yancey.
At this time, I would like to go through your FYI packet that's
Sure.
in front of you. The first part of the packet is the NLCS School Board highlights. This is over a year and a half, and for our board members that are leaving us and the board that's still present. A lot of pages of what you helped accomplish over the last year and a half, and we say thank you to your efforts in working with us as we continue to improve our school district. So this is only the major highlights. Of course, there's much more, but please take time over the Christmas break to look at what has been accomplished. Second is a notice from David Van Landingham to the Lawrence County Clerk's Office to retain voter registration data for our Star Blast Communication newsletter. That'll allow us to give the newsletter out to more than just our families, for our patrons, our community as a whole. So I wanted you to see what we were doing. Number 3 is a family first workforce, how child care affects business. I received this at one of the economic development meetings. I thought it was interesting to see how important child care is for our district. Number 4 is dealing with the BNL prom for 2025. Mr. Cannon is working. I've given him kind of an assignment to look at changing our prom site. We are having some problems. We're probably going to have to go back to the same prom site, but he now has some ideas because it takes about a year to list that or have that site held for us. We usually have 600 students that participate in the prom. It is a large prom, and he has a committee, and he's been working on this because I've asked him to look at changing the site. But I wanted to give you kind of an update. On number 5 is the December Playful Pathways updates and numbers. As you can see, Playful Pathways has increased over the last year. We want to open up some more classrooms to add more students, especially in 5-year-olds. Again, the problem is trying to find help to fill those slots. Our new director is doing an outstanding job to try to find workers for we can add more of our patrons' children in our district at Playful Pathways. Wanted to just keep you up on that. We received the curriculum materials reimbursement for the state. I wanted you to see we finally got, some people call that textbook reimbursement. That also is a reimbursement for our personal computers for our students. You saw the budget there. The state came close, so we're thankful we did receive this money. Number 7 is Parkview 5th and 6th grade Boston field trip. You do not have to approve this because this is done by an not sponsored school activity. But I did want you to see that kids from Parkview 5th and 6th grade will be going on this trip. Number 8 is a contract to help Technology Department manage the E-rate funds. We do this each year. You don't have to approve it. But again, I wanted to let you see what that costs to manage this, and it is a large sum of money. And again, we want to wish you, all of you, a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and thank you for what you do for our school corporation.
Okay. Thank you for the updates. Item J is now persons to address the board, so David will bring up the cards, and then I'll call you up by name. Thank you. So first I have Mackenzie Beasley. It's Mackenzie here. Hi. And there's a 3-minute limit, but I'm not going to cut you off in the middle of the sentence. If the alarm goes off, that just means, kind of.
I'll try to be quick.
Okay, but I don't want it to seem like we're just going to cut you off in the middle of the sentence, so go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Mackenzie Beasley, and I'm the parent of a first grade student with special needs at Parkview Elementary. I'm sure you're aware of the recent exclusion of special education students from the Christmas program, and I would like to address this incident greater in detail than what was on my news interview. The apology issued by Parkview was deeply troubling. The statement, "Unfortunately, some students were included from participation, and we deeply regret this oversight," was unacceptable in my opinion. Exclusion has no place in our schools and should be the one safe haven for our children, and it is especially concerning when it affects students that are already face significant challenges. Excluding special needs children from a Christmas program is not just an oversight. It sends a harmful message that their worth and contributions are less valued than their peers. This exclusion can deeply affect their self-esteem and sense of belonging, creating a long-lasting impact on their emotional and social development. School is meant to be a place of inclusion where every child feels valued, supported, regardless of their abilities. When children with special needs are left out of important events, it reinforces the isolation they often already feel, making it harder for them to connect with their classmates and believe in their own potential. This type of exclusion can have a ripple effect, affecting their motivation to participate in school activities, their relationship with their peers, and their overall sense of safety and acceptance in the school community. I never expected something like this to happen, especially considering the scrutiny that NLCS has faced in recent years. While the apology referred to this as an isolated incident, I know that it is not. I have heard from multiple parents, and although they fear speaking out due to the environment that was created, they will want to stay anonymous. But I've had children, 3rd grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, and 8th grade, that all attended Parkview and all were left out in years prior. This is not the first time special education students have been treated poorly in our schools, and I will do everything in my power to ensure it is the last time, as long as I still have a voice. I'm here today to remind you that the community is closely watching your actions following this painful incident. Many of you were recently elected, and I will not hesitate to use my voice to advocate for these children, whether through public discourse or by challenging your seat at the ballot box if necessary. This should never be about politics. This should only be about our children's future. These children will one day become leaders, professionals, and contributors to our community. What we do today will shape who they are tomorrow, and we have the power to create a system where no child is left behind regardless of their abilities ever again. I'm calling on this board to take immediate action. I encourage you to review and revise current policies surrounding inclusion, to provide training for staff on the importance of creating an inclusive environment, and to involve parents in decision-making processes when it comes to events and activities including special needs students. I want to ensure no other child in my family or any other family ever feels like this again and ever feels less because their child is disabled. Our children deserve better. They need to be seen, heard, and included. We can do better, and we must. I demand it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Annalise Shunk. I hope I said that correctly. Hi, Annalise. So you'll have 3 minutes.
Sure.
I don't know if you heard what I said to her, but it'll...
Yes, 3 minutes, that's fine. Good evening, my name is Annalise Shunk. I am a parent also to one of the students that was excluded at Parkview's Christmas program. I've emailed all of you this afternoon several of my concerns, but I wanted to speak publicly and express my disappointment and, quite frankly, my embarrassment that this has caused this community and this school district. I have been a teacher for over a decade, and I know that teachers are human and they make mistakes. This mistake, however, is one that just simply cannot be made. I, as a teacher and as a parent, cannot wrap my head around the excuse that this was an oversight. These students are some of our most vulnerable, and as a parent, I have put my blind trust into these people who run our schools. That trust has been violated. I trust that my child, a child who cannot speak for himself or let his parents know that something may or may not have happened, and I trust them to take care of him to the highest degree. Yet on Monday, he and his entire class were forgotten about. Will he be forgotten about at breakfast? Will he be forgotten about during a fire drill, during a violent intruder drill, or heaven forbid, if a real-world situation like that were to occur? Anyone in education can tell you that his civil rights were violated. That is abundantly clear. I want a plan of action to address how a violation like this will never be repeated again. I also want a prompt plan to address how this violation will be rectified. My contact information is in the email that you all got this afternoon, and I'm looking forward to your prompt response. Thank you.
Thank you, Annalise. Okay, I believe those are all the cards. Mr. Yancey, I believe you had a statement.
Dear North Lawrence Community School parents, I want to address an important matter concerning equitable participation for all of our students at North Lawrence Community Schools. Unfortunately, some students were excluded from participation from the 2024 Christmas program. and we deeply regret this situation. This does not align with our commitment to inclusivity, and for that I sincerely apologize. To prevent this from happening again, we are implementing a comprehensive procedures to guarantee equitable participation for all students. This will involve collaboration with staff, parents, and stakeholders to ensure our commitment to value, respect, and provide opportunity for every student. I've spoken personally with the concerned parents who brought this issue to light, and I extend my heartfelt apologies to the students and families affected. Their absence in this year's Christmas program is deeply regrettable, and we are committed to ensure such exclusion do not occur in the future. I'm working directly with Parkview's administration to develop a clear outline and protocols that ensure inclusion opportunities for all students. Inclusion-specific training for all NLCS teachers, administrators, and staff will be implemented. We value your partnership in strengthening an inclusive school environment where every child feels valued. Please do not hesitate to share your thoughts as we work through to refine our practices. I want to thank you for your continued trust and support in our school system.
All right, thank you. We will move on now to spotlights and highlights. Today will be read by Mr. Adam Parsley.
All right, thank you, Dr. Miller. Starting first, I believe, highlighting Shawswick Elementary School. Our holiday program is held at the B&L PAC for the first, second, third grade students on Monday, December 16th. As Buddy the Elf puts it, the best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing out loud for all to hear. There's just something so special about hearing 230 little ones singing together. It really puts you in the holiday spirit. For the first time since 2019, Shawswick is bringing back reindeer games. This was a long-standing tradition at Shawswick Middle School, and we're thrilled to be bringing it back for our 5th and 6th grade students this year. Finally, Shawswick students participated in the Gift of Reading on Thursday, December 12th. Each staff member selected a book to read, and the books were displayed in the hallways for students to see. All students were able to sign up for the book they wanted to have read to them, and when it was time, students were led to the group they had chosen. The gift was that they didn't know which staff member or teacher was reading the book. It was a special surprise. Each teacher read their book and completed an activity with the students in their group. It was a special time for students and staff. We even had some retired Shawswick teachers join us for this special event. At Dollins, over 40 students and staff took part in 2 separate floats in the Bedford Christmas Parade this year. We froze but had a wonderful time celebrating Dollins. Our attendance rate from this last year has grown from 93% to 95%. 12 of which of our students have perfect attendance, and 11 students have only 1 absence. Miss Murnane's kindergarten class collected the most supplies for the Bedford Humane Society, so they got to throw a pie into Mr. Malone's face. I saw that. He was digging that stuff out of his ears for hours, I think. Mrs. Toshlog Pemberton has been tutoring a student who had gone from 0% mastery of H brother words to almost 90%. The student also has multiple other measurable significant increases. Mrs. Willis has all but secured an entire class set of micro-bits kits. This kit allows young students to get a head start in programming and coding. Our Dollins girls basketball team finished the regular season undefeated. Lincoln Elementary School. Our 1st and 2nd graders put on an amazing performance for the Christmas program Monday evening. Our annual Gift of Reading event this week was a huge success. Students had the opportunity to sign up for a Christmas book to be read to them, make a festive craft, and enjoy fresh popcorn. It was a fun and heartwarming experience for all. Our PTO hosted a holiday vendor fair at the end of November with over 40 booths, and the community came out in full force. It was a wonderful opportunity to support local businesses and enjoy the holiday spirit. Needmore Elementary. We had a wonderful Christmas program with our 1st and 2nd grade students. Thank you to our music teacher, Laura DeBruner, for putting that together. Our student council stayed after school one afternoon to write Christmas cards for local nursing home residents. Students had a great time when Santa visited Needmore during breakfast this past Saturday. Our PTO is hosting a holiday shop this week so students can shop for family members. Thank you to our PTO and all the volunteers who made that possible. We're proud of our basketball players and cheerleaders for a fun season. Thank you to the coaches and families for all their support and encouragement throughout the season. This semester's attendance rate is 96.4%, and we are proud of our students and families for making attendance a priority. Parkview Intermediate. The Parkview 3 through 6 Student Council's Fantasia Tree earned the 3rd place finish in the Christmas Parade Youth Division. Our students raised $226 for our local Humane Society. The Parkview 3 through 6 boys basketball team has completed an undefeated season for 3 years in a row and placed first at the Lawrence County Tournament for a third year in a row. This remarkable achievement is a testament to the hard work, dedication, and teamwork of our athletes, coaches, and supporters. Congratulations to the players for their outstanding performance and sportsmanship throughout the season. We are incredibly proud of this team's success and look forward to even more accomplishments in the future. Our first semester attendance rate is 95%. Let's keep the momentum going. Go Parkview. Parkview Primary. For our work with the literacy cadre, our instructional coach, Brooke Humphreys, is able to meet with each teacher each week to analyze student data and make instructional decisions. Because of this work and focus on Tier 1 instruction, our students' growth from the beginning of the year to now is double what it was this time last year. Ms. Foster's first grade class wrapped up their Amplify unit on the human body. They had different stations for the students to participate in a game of operation, including addition and subtraction of bones, cut and paste of organs, digraph match, and write the room organ names. To enhance the effect, students dressed up as doctors complete with scrubs, hairnets, and name tags, making them official doctors. The students had fun showing off everything they'd learned. On December 13th, Ms. Gore's class began studying how to make Rudolph fly. By following the scientific process, they were able to create an experiment using baking soda and vinegar to try and make Rudolph fly. After their first attempt in the morning, Rudolph was not able to take off. The students went back to the classroom and redesigned their experiment, and that afternoon, Rudolph was seen flying 2 stories in the air. Bedford Middle School. Our theater students did an outstanding job with their performances last weekend. Their hard work and dedication were evident, and they brought their best to the stage. Our talented band students performed for the community during the winter concert. Schaefer Auditorium was filled with families and community members showing their support and creating a wonderful atmosphere to celebrate our students' hard work and growth. The BMS Orchestra has been busy showcasing their skills and learning new ones. They recently performed in their winter concert. Several students also participated in the BMS Orchestra Clinic organized by Mrs. Heather Jones. This clinic brought BNL Orchestra students to BMS to teach and share techniques with our students. The incredible work our teachers and instructional coaches are doing week in and week out during their content area meetings is truly impressive. The culture of collaboration that continues to grow at BMS is benefiting our students every day, and their dedication to improving instruction and supporting one another is commendable. Thanks to the generous donation of a family in our community, BMS will soon welcome the Icebox. This necessities closet will provide students in need with clothing, toiletries, and other essential items. We are grateful to the anonymous donors for making this valuable resource possible for our school. Gateway Academy. The Academy has served 72 students this semester, 52 in-person placements, 9 virtual placements, 10 middle school suspensions, and 1 high school suspension. There are 38 in-person placements and 7 virtual placements already scheduled for the second semester. A total of 251 high school credits have been earned by Gateway Academy students this semester. 3 class of 2024 returning students have completed their remaining diploma requirements through Gateway Academy. 2 general education students and 1 special education student. 2 of these were accomplished by the deadline and counted towards our 2024 cohort. 2 of our full-day students will be transitioning back to BNL for half-days during the second semester. There were a total of 10 students enrolled in our online CTE course options this semester. This is proving to be a successful alternative option for some NLCS students. BNL. BNL is proud to promote the efforts of BNL Santa Stars. Santa Stars is a group of juniors and seniors whose focus is raising funds to meet the needs of families in the NLCS district. This group then takes the funds to purchase necessities and gifts for families. This year we raised over $6,000 from our community, for our community. Thank you, Santa Stars. BNL wants to thank Chicago's Pizza for the generosity and compassion for our BNL Special Education Department. Each year our students have community-based instruction Christmas trip to implement their skills worked on in the classroom. To highlight this, they visited Chicago Pizza, and Chicago donates the meals for the students, 18 this year. Not only do they not charge for the meal, but they are kind, compassionate, and interact well with our students. Thank you, Chicago's Pizza. And the Career Center. Approximately 175 students attended the Skilled Trades Showcase at the 4-H Fairgrounds on November 21st. The event introduced students to 12 skilled trades, including electricians, pipe fitters, and bricklayers. It provided a valuable opportunity for students to engage directly with skilled trades workers and employers. Attendees also learned about the apprenticeship programs and how to pursue a career in these fields. Armed Forces Day, on Friday, November 25th, the Career Center had its first Armed Forces/Military Day. Recruiters from the Air Force, Army, Army National Guard, Marines, and Coast Guard are available to answer questions from students and teachers. Our expansive welding facilities make us the best location for the FFA District 11 Welding Contest. The contest was held on Monday, December 2nd, and consisted of 68 total welders, 4 from our chapter. Lane Shelton was named top overall beginner. NLCC is proud of the 3 entries this year for Bedford's Christmas Parade. Construction Trades and Health Sciences took the lead in creating their Career Center float and brought home the award for the most festive. FFA used Legos to represent the building blocks of the future, and Educators Rising showcased the childhood favorite movie, Toy Story, because they put the work into play. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. So our upcoming meetings, we do have an executive session following this, and then our reorganization meeting, where we will be on the new board members and vote on officers, will be on January 9th. And with that, I would entertain a motion for adjournment. All right, Mr. King makes a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Lombrick seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?